Drill parting. Nah, that don't sound cool. Maybe it does. Drill part. Snitch pardon. Snitch cast. Yo, who came up with the title for drill rap? Like, who first started calling it drill? Like, even better question, who came up with the name for mumble rap? I know it wasn't the people who quote unquote mumble rap. I know they ain't come up with it. Somebody came up with that, and the world bought in, and it just is what it is now, right? Let's take it back further. Who came up with the term hip hop? I don't think it was the people who started hip hop. Who came up with the term gangster rap? I remember, that term was born sometime around the time of Ice Cube and NWA, Ice-T and all that. They didn't call it that. They called it reality rap, right? So what are we going to call this version of podcasting? Drill pod, snitch pod? Because it's something different. I mean, who came up with the term for podcast? Anyway, it's something different from regular podcasts, right? But it is reflective of drill. It's an extension of the drill, I guess, the drill rap culture. Now, where I may advocate for free speech, you understand what I'm saying? I do not advocate talking about your actual crimes on a record. You understand what I'm saying? Threatening somebody on a song and then going and carrying out said threat in real life. I don't advocate that. They say a lot of that takes place in drill culture, right? You know what I'm saying? Drill rap. That's what they say. They say that that's all it's about. Now I'm sure that ain't all it's about. Well, I'm not sure, but I don't think I'm assuming that that's not all it's about. I just don't listen to a lot of it, so I can't. I'm not familiar with a lot of it, so I can't. Beat on my chest with that claim. But people attach it to a lot of negativity, right? So what are we calling these podcasts who not necessarily the ones who cover the fuckery, but those who encourage the madness? Them. It's them that need their own section. You know what I mean? DJ Vladim 22 and all of that. What made me think about, I've been watching some content about, on the YouTube streets about Adam 22 saying that No Jumper is broke. They're going broke, they're downsizing this, that, and the third. And, I don't know how interesting I found all of that, but I chose not to talk about it when it first jumped off. But now the story is getting some new nuances and all that. And plus I don't know, it wasn't a business shutting down, ain't that's not necessarily newsworthy. Because, they word that they talk about No Jumper is broke. I don't care about No Jumper's finances, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and they saying No Jumper is broke. They're not saying Adam 22 is broke. There's a big difference, right? But anyway, I thought it was kind of funny, not funny, but interesting that he's deciding to downsize after all of this Rico Suave, after all of the Suaves came down. Well, the Big U Suave. Big U Suave came down, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, all of these guys are locked up. And y'all heard all of the facts about that. I mean, the stories out there. He gets paid a visit. Whack comes online and trolls us all talking about police. Well, the feds came and locked him up. They came and talked to him. Whatever the true story to that is. And now he wants to downsize. Nah, nigga. That sound like something different to me. And as I was watching around, I found at least one or two other individuals that agree with my sentiment. You know what I mean? Some people I don't usually talk about on this platform or whatever, but it is what it is, and the truth is the truth. I stumbled into somebody's content that had included a clip from Tasha K where she was talking about the matter, and she said she spoke to somebody in the LAPD. I don't know if that's true or not. She said, people be knowing people. I mean, like, I know people who are police officers. Yes. Some of the people we grew up with became police officers. Some of the people we knew as kids when we were growing up, when we was young adults, some of our young adult friends' children are now police officers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, she could have a connect in the precinct somewhere, LAPD. And she said that Sonny's just trying to clean up shop because it's bad. It's all the way bad. He trying to detach himself because what's about to happen is a whole bunch of his content is about to come into question. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't remember the exact verbiage she used and all of that, but it's something like that. It was, he said that they only wanted to know about that cease and desist that came from Big U in regards to that loose cannon episode where he was talking about what he was talking about how Big U hit him up too early, talking about Nip was, Nip had got gunned down, so on and so forth, that. But I mean, do we believe that just because that's what Adam said? Not I, but yeah, not your boy. And the story is saying that it's other than. You know what I mean? That's the word, right? So when all of this, they saying that Big U is cooked, and the amount of evidence that may come into play from the No Jumper platform is reason for Adam to be like, yo, I'm getting the fuck away from all of this, which is what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? But yeah, your whole style of podcasting, it spawns suaves. And everything that led up to this point, he was with the shits. Adam 22 be on the platform claiming 60s like it's a game. You understand what I'm saying? His podcast used to be the platform used to be like a skateboarder. It wasn't no hip hop. Then it shifted to like underground hip hop interviews, and then it went to the gangster shit. And ever since, it just, it been getting messier and messier and messier. Like the hockey nigga. and now we have a RICO. So what are we gonna call this? What, because I heard somebody on a podcast. I don't know. I just watched. Let me see if I could retract the name for you. They was calling. It was basically saying AD that used to be on No Jumper, basically referring to him as Patient Zero. They didn't use the term Patient Zero, but you know where all of the crippery, thuggery, street stuff. They saying he started it. He birthed it. You know what I mean? One of his homeboys was kind of pushing back on that, like, you know, what is that? Profanity World Clips? Is that what that is? I can't see it. Let me see something. FMW is the logo. I'm too far from my TV. I ain't some word that starts with an F. World Clips. But they got AD on there. I think they got what's the dude name? Anyway, they having this debate. And they're talking about how AD brung all of that stuff to No Jumper. And he didn't mean it in a negative way, but he was like, you know, he was just basically, it all started when he came there and you know, started giving dudes you know, an authentic perspective behind some of the stuff they was talking about. You know what I mean? And it did well. It escalated. Figmunity World News is what it's called. So salute to those brothers. So I think Vlad may be patient zero for this snitch casting or drill parting. And I know I don't do that type of, you know, that's not what we like to do here at Monster Nation. You know, we might talk about the stuff, but we do not encourage this stuff. If anything, we discourage this stuff. And yeah, I would like to start the movement for, well, y'all let me know which is better, drill pardon or snitch casting. I feel like y'all gonna go with snitch casting because it's more inflammatory and y'all like inflammatory-ish. But you know, let me know. Pause protesters, get your ass out of here. The rest of y'all, welcome to the nation. Monster Nation, that is. I'm your host, your tour guide. I'm the president. I'm the king around here. I'm the landlord, owner, tenant, janitor, mops the damn floor with you if you don't follow the rules. The rules are you gotta like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications if you're trying to be a taxpaying citizen of the nation, and leave us a super thanks. Or Cash App. We actually prefer the Cash App, but y'all do y'all. Y'all do what y'all want anyway. We ain't tripping. Cash App tag will be in the description along with the Bandcamp link, which is there because Nonviolent Rocco is on there, and that's where it's at. Bandcamp link is there for those who rather hear me rap than to hear me rap, and Nonviolent Rocco is the newest edition of sound compilations of me rapping instead of yapping. You know what I'm saying? All of the mixtapes are there from that on down to Shell Shot. It's called Nonviolent Rocco. It's not called Nonviolent. My name is Rockness Monster. Rocco is just a, you know, it's a code name. It's a nickname. Nonviolent Rocco is a response to all of the people who have complained about all of my violence in raps. And it's like, nigga, that's not all I talk about. Let me whoop together a batch for you. You understand what I'm saying? It's a collection of all of the songs where nobody died. You know what I mean? They're not brand new songs. Well, some of them are new, but not all of them. But it's like a mixtape, an actual mixtape, not an album that people call a mixtape because they don't like, because they're scared the numbers are going to be lackluster and they scared to say that they album sold mixtape numbers. So they just call it a mixtape. Also, in the rules, you're allowed to do graffiti in here. You're allowed to write on the walls. That means leave comments, as I said before. But you just got to spell all the monuments and the legends right. You understand what I'm saying? Rock is spelled with a C and a K, unless you a Crip. And if you a Crip and you type in, well, just don't type rock. Just say my nigga, bruh, or whatever. But if you must take off the K, then put a K or something in your comment. Helter Skelter is spelled with an A-H, not an E-R, with A's and H's. H-E-L-T-A-H. S-K-E-L-T-A-H, not E-R, E-R, not Helter Skelter. Got it? Monster is spelled with an A, no E-R, no H. I know it gets a little bit, tricky. They don't, it's an H at the end of Helter and Skelter. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But you're just going to have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? How you spell neighbor? Stupid. You can figure this out. Oh, yeah. And for the love of God, it's BCC, not BBC. And while we at it, Boot Camp Click, it's spelled C-L-I-K. It's not spelled with a Q, U, and an E. It's not spelled with a C and a K at the end. I'm just helping. Because when you type these things in, you make it hard for people to find us when they're searching for us by title, by name. You know what I mean? You might be typing in the wrong thing. You might be typing in the hashtag Bootcamp Click or hashtag Rockness Monster and spelling it wrong, and you're only getting a fraction of the goods. You understand what I'm saying? So let's work together to promote a good nation. Monster Nation, that is. Anyway, made us into this video. Let me get 4 rat emojis. Rock on, rock going.